Howdy folks, today we are gonna check out my top 3, 1, 2, 3 winter baits. Things that I like chucking when it's cold outside. Right now it's the nicest day of the week. It got up to 60 degrees today. We got about 3 hours of daylight left. I'm gonna take you guys through every single one of my top 3 baits, and maybe I'll throw in a couple bonuses too. All right guys, stay tuned. All right guys, it's December. We're out here, we're fishing, we're grinding. And the first bait that I gotta talk to you about, one of my all-time favorites in the top 3, is a square bill crankbait. This right here is what I consider the GOAT of square bills. This is the 2.5 Strike King. And this is either chartreuse shad or sexy shad. I'm not sure which one, but I'm not gonna get into colors a lot today because I think that really depends on where you're at geographically and what you have the absolute most confidence in. Now I said it's a square bill earlier, but I have a little twist to it. Here's the twist. You hear anything? No, I don't hear a thing. That's because it's the silent version. When you're fishing in the winter, you're trying to figure out where they're at, you wanna get a few strikes, use the silent square bill crankbait, Strike King 2.5, this guy right here. Now I'm gonna give you an alternative real quick. If I can't get them on this and I still think it's gonna be a good crankbait bite, I will downgrade or upgrade to this guy right here. This is the Spro Little John. All right, it's kind of in a clear red color, and this one does have a few rattles on it, but it's like one big rattle. It's kind of like a knocker. I don't know if you can really hear that, but if this isn't getting the job done, then I'll switch over to this guy right here, and I'm actually gonna do that right now. But yeah, bait number 1 or 3 in my top 3 for wintertime fishing is a square bill. I always have some type of square bill tied on throughout the entire winter. I love fishing a square bill in the winter. Something really important with all of our square bills, right, is that when on the retrieve, especially in the winter time, summertime you can cast and reel and roll, but in the winter it's super important that you change up your cadence. You got to switch your cadence up. So I'm going to throw on, so I give it, is the VMC crank snap, I think is what they call it. All right, the VMC crank snap is awesome in the winter for a few different reasons. Number 1, it's gonna keep your bait suspended for a little bit longer, which in the wintertime can make a world of difference. Number 2, it's starting to get pretty cold out here, and I don't want to retie, right? I'm freezing. Well, if I have this crank snap on, I don't have to retie, I just snap and go. All right. Number 3, it makes the action, I think, a little bit more erratic, especially when it bangs off of cover. Oh, thought I was gonna get one right there. The second tip that I gotta give you guys, and I don't have anything to show you except for the lake that I'm on right now. Fish smaller bodies of water in the winter. Fish the smallest bodies of water that you can find. All right, public, private, it doesn't matter. The smaller the lake, the better. All right, I used to go out and fish big giant lakes every winter, and man, it was a struggle. Did it make me a better fisherman? Yes. Was it fun? Absolutely not. I had to grind so hard to catch a bass in the winter because I was fishing Lake Gunnersville, because I was fishing Kentucky Lake, because I was fishing these giant bodies of water and struggling. Well, I saved a lot of money on gas and I fish smaller bodies of water now. The smaller the better. The bass are going to be so much more easier to find in the wintertime, especially if you're already a little bit familiar with the lake itself. You can easily locate those bass in the winter, and that's really all wintertime bass fishing is, right? It's a process of elimination. You want to get rid of the most amount of water possible, and if you're looking at, you know, a couple thousand acres of lake, that can be really hard. It can be cold, it can be wet, it can be not fun. So my final tip is exactly that. Try to find the smallest body of water you can find to catch bass in the winter. All right guys, it's time for my number 1 bait in the winter for bass fishing right here. It is the Ned rig, but it's not just a normal Ned rig, it's actually a skirted Ned rig with an EWG hook on it. These are made by ZR Custom Tackle. No, they're not a sponsor. Yes, I just love his products. This thing catches bass year round, anywhere in the country where the water's still wet and not frozen. You cast this thing out there, you're gonna eventually catch a bass. It might take you a couple months, but you're gonna get one for sure. This is what replaces my football jig. So a lot of people in the wintertime, they throw big jigs, they throw micro jigs, they throw football jigs, but nobody that I know of, except for a handful of guys, throws a skirted EWG Ned jig. Now, this bait right here is the X Zone Lures Ned Zone. It is the 4.25. I can usually catch a little bit bigger fish on this. Oh, looks so good on there. This bait is worn out too. You can see that the head has got no paint left. I absolutely destroy on this bait in the wintertime. It is my all-time favorite bait. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for checking out the channel. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Reel and roll. Dark and cold, cold and dark, little fish all day long. I don't care because it's wintertime bass fishing. Wintertime bass fishing. Wintertime bass fishing. You cast a lot, your hands get cold. Your hands get cold because you cast a lot. Retie knots because your hands are cold. It's really hard to retie knots when your hands are cold.